Hey everyone, you're listening to the Simple Electronics podcast. I'm your host, Dan from the Simple Electronics YouTube channel. And today's episode is sponsored by PCBWay, but more about that later because right now I want to introduce a very special guest. You probably know who he is, at least from the last episode because you listened to all the episodes, right, folks? Bitluni, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. I'm fine.
I know you quite well now from either your live streams or your videos and your last appearance on the podcast, but do you want to introduce yourself to those people who might not know you?
All right. So my YouTube name is Bitluni, but also my friends in real life call me Looney. And I'm a YouTube maker now. So I'm doing this full time for quite some time. And what I do on my channel is mainly electronics, but I also like to do make other stuff. And that's what I do.
Your videos are absolutely just ridiculous, if I can say so myself. If you think of most YouTubers, they usually have a concept and they explore it and then they make a video out of it. But it seems to me like the concepts that you're exploring sometimes could be written in scientific research. For
Concept?
example, yeah. What about your DIY sonar scanner? That
Oh,
thing was
wow,
pretty
yeah.
nuts.
Yeah, that was the last good one that I made.
Good one. Yeah, right. I liked all your videos, really. I hit, you know what? We can go back and I can show you. I hit the like button on all of them. So
Oh,
there.
really? Oh, wow. Okay, thank you very much.
And in fact, you have been doing this for a while, but you're telling me that coming up is going to be your 10-year anniversary, right?
Yeah, in August this year, it's 10 years now that I'm doing that. And I'm doing it full time for, it might be even like 7 years now. No, 6 years, maybe. Yeah, something like that. So 10 years anniversary this August, and it's a chaotic 10 years because I have it will be probably clickbait because I have to close my workshop here or my lab because we are moving. We purchased a new house, which I don't have much space there. I still hope that I will convert the shed to a new lab, but this lab which I'm in, which is very spacious, I have to close it in August, actually, when the 10th birthday is of my channel.
So are you basically renting now and moving to the first house you own? Is that how that works?
Yes. So we moved from the city, with my spouse. When we moved together, this is now 4.5 years ago. We wanted to rent a house because I lived in a freestanding house before with a garden, and I really don't wanted to go back to a flat in the city. So we were looking to rent a house, but basically the renting prices in cities, like for houses even close to a city, were so ridiculous. With my measly YouTube money, I can't afford thousands of euros to pay for a lab or whatever. So we just rented a quite big house in the sticks, basically here. And now we were looking for 2 years to find something really cheap, to renovate it ourselves, because I assume I'm a handyman as well. At least I will try. It will be the first house. So we bought a really cheap house now, and but it's small. But I have a shed that I can convert to to a workshop, and I will have a dedicated room for streaming and so on.
Yeah, that's, win or lose, if you do the renovations while on camera, at least here in Canada, you can claim all those expenses under under your business,
Yeah.
and so you can get here in Canada, it would be about 15% tax reduction for every every dollar you spend. So
Oh, really? Yeah. You can in Germany. I don't want to say anything false, but yeah, the deduction on like stuff that you use for your work is there are good options for that. But I don't want, like, you have, of course, like you have like to, it has to be for like, if I keep like the drill that I buy and use it for my private stuff, then it's not for like the YouTube stuff. So apparently you can deduct it fully.
Oh,
But I mean, like, I would like to document what all the stuff that I do wrong. I will get notified in the comments after I did them wrong. So I would like to document everything, maybe on YouTube or whatever, like vertical video formats and TikTok or whatever. But and to maybe get even like stuff sponsored, like tools can be expensive, especially, or whatever, or solar panels or whatnot. But I don't think that my audience will like it. I recently just noticed that whenever I do something else than electronics, like I see, like when I do PCBs and VGAs and ping pong balls or whatever, that is always gains many views. And whenever I try to do something about solar, I mean, my solar videos are not that good, but that's genuinely how I use the stuff. So I put just a few solar panels on my flat roof, and they are there for years now, and they work, and that saves me money. And I like to share this, but yeah, not many people enjoy those projects somehow. I don't know why.
now I don't believe you that the solar panels are still on the roof because you put the solar panels basically propped up on a piece of wood. And I read the comment section, and the comment section said that at the lightest breeze, those solar panels are going to fly off your roof. So I don't believe that they're still there. It
They
can't
are
be.
they're heavy. They're like 35 kilograms. And when we get wind, we don't get like shear winds. So they're basically the direction of that. So that's like the garage is pointed um, down the hill. So when we get wind, the wind goes up the hill. So they get like the frontal attack from the wind, that they are basically, there is no shear winds that would basically go underneath the panel and just we had really strong winds in the past years here, and they never moved.
Yeah,
So
but you're saying that the comment section is wrong. I mean, they can't be wrong. They've never been wrong, right?
no, I get, like, most of the times the comments are really really good. I got many good advice from the comments, so I don't want to flame. But they are also haters. Yeah,
They are, of course.
it's okay.
It's their job on YouTube.
But it's I have even like proof in the last the solar video, or the power pack and hourly energy price video. I went. This was the first time I was on the roof since 1 year, and the panels were basically so dirty after the winter that I had to clean them. So the panels have to be there all the time, except for the one that I just added to the two panels that were before. So every new video, I just add one panel to the set. And the funny thing is, most of the time I get the new panel, but I'm too lazy to climb up the flat roof and put it on top of the roof. That's why the panel is sitting like for half a year in the garage. And that's really bad, because basically it's free money.
It is. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, speaking as someone that has 300 watts of solar panels sitting about 10 feet away from me in my workshop, instead of outside in the sun, yeah, completely complete waste.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So about the last, so now, um, if someone's wondering if I'm using like actually the power pack that I basically advertised in that video, I actually used it to charge my car, even, because now I have like two micro inverters on my grid, even though that might be a gray zone here. I have like 2 microinverters, and all the panels are tied to the grid tie inverters. And I don't have like, I have only a 100-watt panel extra from like the beginnings of my channel, whatever. And I use that 100-watt panel to charge the power pack. And I drained it to the car, and I recharge it, and it gains now about, with the sunny days, it gains now about like 7% a day of charge,
Your
which is
car?
not much. So I need to get new panel quite soon, like 600. Well, it can charge with up to 1,000 watts, which is crazy. I need to get like 3 new panels, or like 2 big panels, to charge the battery quicker. And I will certainly try to use it for the construction side. So if we do some renovations, or my shed in the new house, I have a use for the battery pack there.
So are you saying the battery pack gets 7% per day, or your car gets
Yeah,
7%?
the battery pack. And basically we have no, like, we have a base load here. This house here, I don't know, it's quite old. We have like and there is also an old built-in fridge and in the kitchen. So the constant load is about 400 watts for this house, which is quite a lot, because I don't know. I don't know. The energy prices are quite different all over the world. It's quite high here in Germany. And now, like the grid tie inverters, they basically cover that through the whole day. They cover the base load plus a little bit. Sometimes it's like I have like extra 400 watts, but it's not enough, like to turn on the washing machine or whatever. So 400 watts are not enough. Like I can turn on my PC, and then basically we are at zero consumption during the day. That's it. And whenever we do anything else, or even charge the car, then the grid tie inverters are not covering that at all. So I don't know.
I
Then yeah.
Yeah, I love the concept of free electricity. Like, once the solar panels are paid,
Yeah.
until they wear out, that's all free. And I live here in Canada, in Ontario, where we have some of the highest electricity rates in North America.
What are the rates?
Let's see. So on peak, it's 24 cents per kilowatt. Ultra low overnight tiered. Wait, hold on.
Oh, you have also hourly hour
Oh
or
yeah,
oh
yeah. It's
wow.
horrible.
No,
Um,
that's good. I mean,
well,
you can
it's
build
sort of.
your life around that.
I do, and I do. We only do laundry after 7 p.m. Right?
And
Um,
that's cool. I think this concept is really great, because basically, if there is not like an abundance of energy, you can basically balance the grid this way. You incentivize the people, like, to not do all the stuff during the peak hours.
well, the problem is that, like, it's summer, so it's hot. So like
Yeah.
this weekend, it was 35 degrees in the middle of the day, which means that our AC is running in the middle of the day when it's the most hot
Oh,
and most expensive.
AC.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We don't have that in Germany.
So on peak, it's 15 cents per kilowatt hours.
Yeah.
Mid peak, which is sort of like like sort of like the shoulders, like the mornings and the evenings, is 10 cents per kilowatt hour, and off peak is 7.4 cents per kilowatt hour. So that's at night.
Oh, wow, that's really cheap, and that's Canadian dollars. It is.
Canadian rubles, yeah,
Yeah,
very much so.
rubles. Oh, right. Okay. No, that's a huge difference, apparently. Yeah. In Germany, it's quite uncommon to have like an AC. Really, in the private sector, it's mostly like in commercial buildings, you have like ACs, or cars, of course, but not in private homes. We just open the window.
Yeah,
Or close it if it's too hot outside.
it's
Yeah.
Luften, right? Is that what you guys
Lüften,
call it?
yeah, Lüften. Yeah,
There
that's
we go.
cool. Uh,
That's
you're probably seeing quite a lot of TikToks or vertical videos about Lüften in Germany.
Yep. especially because it's problematic for transplants, because there's a lot of people who like let's say Canadians who
Yeah.
marry Germans, because the Germans apparently they still do it in the winter here when it's like -30. They'll open the windows for like 10 minutes every day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's and we have like even this kip. Kip is like when the window opens, like it basically tilts
Yeah.
towards you. Like that's like if you do a little bit of lifting.
A mini Lifton.
Yeah. So I think the difference is how the houses are made, because most of the time we have like brick houses, and so they don't get really hot during the day. They can basically conserve like the temperature over a long period of time. And if you have like a wood framed house, it probably heats up much faster during the day and even cools faster. I don't know.
That's possible because we're only timber frame here, because
Yeah,
basically, I mean, we have to cut down the trees to build the houses, so we might as well
yeah.
use timber frame, right?
You have
Canada's a
a
massive, yeah.
abundance of wood. Yeah, that's and so usually like brick houses, like especially the old ones, you will get like mold most probably if you don't like vent the house quite often. So that's why we here in Germany are basically trained to do it quite often. Otherwise, you get condensation, maybe even. So that's one explanation that I can think of.
I mean, you're the expert between both of us. That means we're just gonna take your explanation as truth.
What? I am an expert.
In
Yeah,
German culture, for
yeah,
sure.
German culture for sure, but I don't know much about like Canadian culture, except for like the timber framing channels that I watched.
There we go. And even weirder is that, to me, it doesn't make sense. They use nails instead of screws. I think screws is, I mean, it just makes most sense. But I think nails are a lot easier to drive in, so it's
Yeah,
faster. But
yeah,
then your
that's
house
true.
squeaks when there's wind. It's weird.
Apparently, nails are more durable than screws. Screws can break
Oh, that
because
makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah, the nails never break. They can bend, but they don't break. But
Like our
screws are basic.
spirit
Yeah,
as electronics YouTubers.
yeah, yeah,
What is it? What is it that you like about the solar stuff? I love the fact that it's free energy, but is
yeah.
there something that draws you to it that's
Oh,
deeper than that?
I'm so crazy now about like this hourly pricing. We didn't have that. So, for comparison, um, I paid like 45 cents a kilowatt hour
Oh my God.
before I got this new contract with this hourly prices, which is basically market price plus grid costs. And the grid costs are like grid costs and taxes are 14 cents on top of the market price. And uh, that's what you pay as a total. And um, what happens right now is that we have a lot of wind and solar energy, because there's like, and it's not, I don't know, there's like a huge abundance during the day. And we get negative prices all the time on the market, but you have like to add like the 14 cents. It's exported basically to the neighboring countries most of the time, and we have some like pump storage. How do you call that? Like the water.
Oh, like hydroelectric storage, yeah.
Yes, yeah, yeah. But we have only few of that. So basically, the energy is like even like negative price sometimes, but you can rarely get like a negative price at home. And I'm now like totally obsessed with this. I can say it. It's Tibber. So you have like an app, and you attach like a device, an IoT device to your thing, and basically you see all the time what's your consumption and what the prices are in the next hours and so on. And now we really like to optimize the heck out of it. Even my spouse, like to get like the super cheap prices of sometimes it's like we have like So yesterday I charged the car with like for 9 cents a kilowatt hour, which is crazy because then I get like a range of 100 kilometers for €1.50, which with a combustion car I can only dream of. That's like crazy.
You can only get about a half liter or a third of a liter for that.
Yeah, and even like with my Ford, that takes like 6 liters per 100 kilometers. Yeah, that's now 1 liter costs about 150, 160.
I'm not going to tell you how much my Volvo consumes. I'm averaging 11.3 at the moment liters per 100.
Yeah, it might not even like make sense to be so obsessed about that, but because the average price over the day is like 25 cents, which is already a lot lower than the 45 that I paid before. And but just like looking, okay, yeah, I can turn on the dishwasher during the peak energy production. It already like yeah, it's satisfying. And solar on the roof is even crazy, like with the grid tie inverters, just to see like on my Tibber also that now I have like spare 200 watts that are basically, because you don't get paid for the energy that you put back to the grid, it's basically lost. We don't have contracts like that. There are contracts, but you have basically separate the energy production from the intake. So it's really complicated here right now. So all energy that you put back to the grid is lost here. So whenever I see, oh, wait, we have like minus 200, minus 300 watts right now, then I just turn something on. So I'm now, or charging devices or whatever, or charge the car during that time, just not to like waste that. It's not wasted, but yeah.
It's sort of wasted. I get what you mean. And it does make sense also to have your car as a sort of like a solar load, right? Instead of sending it back to the grid for free, you might as well
Yeah.
store it. Can you do V2L with your car? Can you draw power from your car?
No, I can't. And now with the knowledge that I got from the video with the battery pack, so I found like this one paper, that the study about lithium iron phosphate batteries, which basically took a look like the charging cycles, the like lifespan that you can get out of batteries, and it's really like expensive to like a charge cycle is really expensive still on batteries. And if you have like a car and you have like limited charging cycles, you don't really want like to break the battery, or I don't know. I would like to have it for some occasions when there is like a truly negative price for me as well to charge. We had that like recently. There was like minus 1 cent or whatever. So you got paid for by Tibber to consume energy, which is really crazy. You can charge your car and you get paid for that. So we had like a unicorn day like that recently. So and if there is like a day where the energy is like really expensive, it can reach like 35 cents, which is not expensive like for me, because I was like really ripped off the last year where we had like this energy crisis with the Ukraine war and so on. We had like much higher prices back then. It was like 60 cents or something per kilowatt hour, which was really crazy.
Ridiculous. That's
Yeah,
how
you
are you
can't
supposed to
imagine that.
live?
Yeah,
You leave the lights off.
and that was basically because of the gas prices. There was
Yeah.
like no gas from Russia. It was like not reliable. Then the pipeline got blown up and so on. So the addiction that we had like from the gas was instantly cured. And we tried, like Germany tried to before we had like LNG terminals like this, to get like this liquid gas from anywhere else, because Germany was still like really dependent on the fossil fuels like gas. Germany needed to fill up their storages for the winter at the same time while having no intake. So what happened is that Germany bought like also LNG gas from like Spain, because they had already some LNG terminals, and was transported through pipelines. I think, I don't want like to give you false information, but what was happening, there was a really shortage on gas, and that was highly paid for like the energy production. We have like this principle where all the energy costs like the most expensive one that's basically consumed at the same time. And in this case, it was like 60 cents for gas kilowatt hour, and that was also paid for all the other sources as well. So it was a crazy time, and I hope that won't happen anymore. We have now some terminals to before like the whole like Germany gets some more storage, because we have abundance of wind and solar, but it can't be really stored. Yeah, I hope that changes, and I will help to change that by basically consuming the energy when it's abundant.
Do it.
Yeah.
And actually, the storage thing, I actually have a lot more positive view on the future of energy storage, because when EV batteries get too old, they lose capacity, so they don't
Yeah.
have the energy density anymore.
Yeah.
They're now recycled by putting them on solar farms and on wind farms, because their energy density doesn't matter when it's like in a stationary
That's
building.
true. That's true.
So
So
yeah,
yeah.
so now we got 10 or 12 years expectancy out of an EV battery, and then they go live out the next 10 or 12 years on a solar farm or a wind farm,
Yeah.
providing capacity. And then after that, then hopefully, 15 years from now, we'll have a really good way to recycle the lithium from them.
Yeah. I saw projects like that. Yeah, that's true. And I was also surprised now. I got a little bit sidetracked with all that, but you asked about the battery, the car battery.
Yeah, that's
Um,
fine.
I was also surprised when I read the research that you can actually really get like up to 10,000 cycles out of lithium iron phosphate battery. It has to be like, the most influence is like how fast you discharge it. So like C2 is still okay. There is like not a big difference between like if you have, let's say, 30 kilowatt hours battery, if you discharge it with 60 kilowatt, it's still okay for the battery. You don't like destroy it. But if you do like 3C, so like 90 kilowatts, it's already like harming the battery life.
That's right.
And what has even more influence is the temperature. So if it's getting too hot or too cold, like minus degrees, of course, harm the temperature. But there is like a sweet spot of like 25 degrees, which I can imagine is quite often not like kept in cars if there is not like active cooling. So if the car is like really cheap, like the electric car where the battery is not kept at the sweet spot of temperature, I believe that the batteries will die way sooner than the difference can be in cycles. What I saw in that research is it can make a difference from like the potential of like, let's say, 8,000 cycles to only like 2,000 cycles, which is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
If they are getting too hot or discharged too quickly.
Just a quick interruption to talk about this episode's sponsor, PCBWay. PCBWay has been a long-term sponsor of the channel, and I think they're a good match for my channel because they provide quality PCBs for a reasonable price. You can get boards manufactured up to 100 mils by 100 mils for just $5, including shipping to Canada, 15 US dollars, including shipping to USA, 12 US dollars, which is incredibly cheap for professionally manufactured PCBs. I can personally attest to the quality of these PCBs, and so if you want a circuit immortalized forever, check out PCBWay.com with the link in the description. Now back to the conversation. You can buy these pre-manufactured lithium iron phosphate cells that are shaped like a 12-volt battery and basically replace like a conventional 12-volt deep cycle battery. And some of those are made for ice fishing huts. I don't know if that's a big thing in Germany, but it's a huge thing in Canada. People go ice fishing a lot.
Yeah.
And the ones that are made for ice fishing, they have a heater inside, and it's an
Oh,
insulated
interesting.
box.
Yeah.
And so the energy needed to run the heater is actually more, you're saving more energy running that heater than the self-discharge that the lithium iron phosphate batteries feel in the cold. So it's less energy to heat the battery from the battery than to just let the battery go cold, and you have a capacity loss because of it.
That's cool. That's cool. Are they like what is the cost of a battery like that? So
Probably one with a heater is going to be about 100 amp hours. So let's say 12 volts. Let's go 12 volts times 100 amps. So it's 1200 watt hours. It will cost probably around $600 to $700 Canadian here.
okay, yeah, that's
Everything's
already quite.
expensive in
Yeah,
Canada.
it's Canadian dollars. I forgot. So
Yeah.
what is the exchange rate for US
Let
to
me
Canadian?
see. 1200 CAD to USD. That would be about 900 US dollars. Whoa, what did I say? 1200. 600. So 450 United
Okay.
States.
Okay, yeah, that's
So that's
all
not too
right.
bad.
That's not too bad because like some people complained like the battery pack that I reviewed, yeah, that's too expensive for the energy density. It's like 5 kilowatt hours, and that's actually the biggest I had so far. And I never bought like the bricks, like the blue ones, the lithium iron phosphate, where you basically have to build everything around them.
Yep.
So I can imagine people are asking me, especially in the comments, why don't you just buy the raw batteries and then build a pack yourself? But there is a lot that you can do wrong with that. So I mean, you save probably like 50% of the cost. If you buy like the inverter and so on, the balancing system, because there is a lot of stuff inside that you don't have to take care of. And then you have like to build the battery pack, like specifically the compression is important. So you have like to compress the batteries so they can like expand. And then you have to insulate it, you have to heat it, like you said, or even cool it if you have in the garage, and the garage gets like 40 degrees C in the summer. It's already bad for the batteries. So
Yeah.
there is a lot that you have to take care of, and especially I love to do it myself. I can use like built batteries for like my crazy vehicles that I build, but I would never attach it, like put it in the basement of my house, because no insurance would pay if that like catches on fire. If I tell,
Well,
yeah, if I tell like if the house burns down, and basically that's a huge cost because houses are expensive. The insurance company will or like the fire department will tell the insurance company, okay, it burned down because this battery pack caught on fire or whatever. Or if there was like a short next to the battery pack, it doesn't have even to do anything with the battery pack, but the battery pack released all its energy and propelled the fire even more. Then the insurance company will for sure refuse to pay because they say, oh, that wasn't certified.
so
So
funny story.
yeah.
I just made the biggest purchase
Oh
ever for my
no.
channel. I have $1,000 worth of these batteries coming to me.
Oh no. Put them in your garage.
No,
Please. No.
no. Actually, my garage is probably worth more than my house at the moment since I have a classic car in there.
Oh, okay. Nice. Okay.
Yeah, which was yeah. But yes, basically, I am going to go through the process
Oh,
of
interesting.
building a battery pack. But my plan is I'm going to put it in a metal box,
Yeah, yeah. Not
basically.
aluminum. Aluminum isn't good enough.
But in fact, lithium iron phosphate does not catch
True.
fire in the
True.
same way as lithium ion.
True. That's
But I agree, you can discharge a ton of current the wrong way through, either BMS or any
yeah,
PCB or
yeah,
stuff like that. So it is dangerous. I
yeah.
I, I do agree, but I think it'll be okay. But the
If you
biggest
do
thing
the
is
right precautions,
that's right.
yeah,
That's right. They're a lot safer than they were before, and if you do your research, and that's what I
that's
plan
so
on.
true. Yeah, safety first. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Uh,
other than that,
yeah, you
should be fine.
probably have to insulate it, like use like a stone wool or something like that. So, and if you put it like on a concrete base or something, and aluminum is quite has low melting point, so even iron will be better there. I think iron has a really high melting point. So if you use an iron box, it's better than
Oh, for
aluminum.
sure.
Yeah.
And rock wool is not that expensive either,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so that's not too bad either. Or you can get the fire bricks, like
Oh,
the
true. Yeah. Yeah. For like chimney or whatever, or
uh, or
fireplace. Yeah.
yeah, what do they call those? The kilns. You can make
Yeah.
yourself a kiln, but it's like basically a fire foam or whatever, something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm not too concerned, but yeah, what's nice is that I eventually want to make a electric motor for a boat, basically, and
Oh,
so that would be
nice.
powering that. And on top of that, the thing that just tickles me is the fact that all week while I work, I can be collecting sun rays, right? 300 watts of solar
Oh,
panel,
yeah. Yeah. True.
and then I can take these batteries and bring them with me fishing, and I go fishing for free, basically free energy.
That's true. That's true. Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's my plan. And
What kind
plus,
of motor will you use? Is this like do you build it yourself, or is it like a boat one, like a typical electrical boat motor?
so I have a trolling motor, so a
Yeah.
slow, electric motor that I bought years and years ago. But the plan is to convert an alternator into a three-phase brushless motor,
Oh, wow. Okay.
which you can do fairly easily.
Three
And then,
phase?
yeah, so an alternator has actually three windings on it. This is actually good information for you because I know that you're into the
Yeah.
into electric transportation, just
Yeah.
in Minecraft because it wouldn't be legal to do in Germany. Wink, wink.
No, it's all
but
right.
yeah, you take an alternator and you take the rotor out, which is it's an electromagnet, and on the outside you have the stator, which is three phases of windings,
Yeah.
which are then rectified by a full bridge rectifier. You have to add some
Yeah.
effects there in your head, and then regulated down to 14 volts DC approximately for your car. But if you cut the diodes out and you cut the regulator out and you replace the electromagnet on the rotor with permanent magnets,
Yeah.
you can actually feed the three phases of the stator with a brushless motor controller. And then you've got a giant brushless motor, and they can handle, like, even little ones can handle about 150 amps, and the
Wow.
insulation is high enough to deal with somewhere around 48 to 60 volts.
Oh,
And so
wow. Okay.
60 volts at
Crazy.
150 amps, I mean, that's a heck of a motor, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thought,
Oh,
at
that's the
least.
first time I hear of that's such a conversion. Most of the time, people use like washing machine motors or whatever.
Yeah, which is also doable, but I just have some alternators kicking around
Nice.
because
Okay.
most of
Cool.
the times in my profession when you replace an alternator, it's that the regulator went bad, or the diodes, one of them blew or something, and they're not serviceable. They're like one way journey if you open
Yeah, I know
the
that. I
box.
know this the pain. I had to change my alternator before, and it cost me a lot every time.
Yep, absolutely. And so basically, I have an access to nearly unlimited alternators, which are only worth the copper and the aluminum that they're made out of. And so, yeah, you can convert them. It costs you, might cost you about 60 or $80 in neodymium magnets. The better, the
Yeah,
more power you're going to get out of it. But to me, it's just amazing that if I wanted to buy a motor of the same power, it would probably cost me like $400 or $500,
that's
whereas
true.
this is like available for free, basically.
Did you consider using one for like a windmill or something? I
For
mean,
well,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. But the only thing is the alternator has to turn quite fast in order to produce
Mm.
voltage. So, like, if I had the space to get like a reasonable size blade to get enough torque, then I would totally do it. But my basically the lot where I live is tiny, so
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you, from fence to fence, it's 30 feet, so about 10
Yeah.
meters from fence to fence, so it's tiny.
Oh, but in all directions or
It's quite a bit longer than that.
yeah.
It's probably like from the street to the end of the backyard. It's about, let's say, 100 meters, 300 feet. But the thing is, the house occupies that space too. Like, you can't get to my backyard without going through the house.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's basically similar to what we bought right now, but our garden will be like on the hillside. So I don't know what to do with that. So maybe I have to. I can't take like my pocket bike and ride down like the hill or something. That would be, I will break my neck. Now I have probably to build like a flying machine or whatever.
Yeah. You
But there is a lot of opportunity like to catch some wind up there, I think, on top of the hill.
What you could do too is you can tie something to a rope and then like run it down the hill with a generator to generate
Oh
electricity
yeah.
and then pull it back up.
Yeah, that's. I wanted to try that because there's like this ridiculous, huge investment project with the concrete blocks where you store basically energy like in basically a crane that's pulling up concrete, stacking concrete blocks or something,
Okay.
and the energy that you can store like that isn't very high, but it was so hyped that I really wanted to like rebuild this because you can easily take just brushless controller that's capable of feeding back like the Vest controller and any brushless motor like RC brushless motor as a generator and try and see, can I even charge my phone with that? That would be interesting. Like taking a huge like water tank or whatever and pull it up 10 meters in the air and then see, okay, how much energy is stored with that.
That would be actually a pretty good video.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's on my list back there for years now.
Well, now you'll have the property to do it, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And do you expect to get any snow around where your new house is?
Oh
Because
yeah, yeah.
sledding in the winter is quite fun.
Oh wow, yeah. But that's steep. I think I will break my neck there because it's like a terrace garden, like it's four terraces,
Okay.
something like that, and there is like stairs on the side of the property. So I don't know. I have I got a sled this Easter as a present. No, no, it wasn't Easter. I got it for Christmas, but there was no snow anymore when I got this. So and I want to use it because I'm like a big kid.
Me too.
And there is a lot of opportunity, but I believe it's better to go like next to the house, not like on the property. We have enough space there.
Look, we rambled a lot, so I
Oh
just want
yes.
to get to a couple of your cool projects, the ones that I in particular find interesting. So, I do want to start with last summer, you built yourself a thruster for a stand-up board. Is this something you're going to revisit this year?
Oh yes, for sure. Okay, this is crazy because I love the subs. Like I got the subs like sponsored, which was really cool because I wanted to do something with that, and um, the project was so stupidly simple. Just taking the drill at the end. I tried different stuff before I did that with the drill. I have like different motors, uh, and I thought at the end, oh, why so complicated? You can just just take a drill, put a prop on 3D print a prop, and use that. Now we have like new prop technology. I have to check that out with the ribbon style props. You know,
Yeah, I forgot what it's called, but it's like the single, it looks like a bow tie almost, looks like a
yes,
figure eight.
yes.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm wondering how wasn't that invented before? So this is so crazy that we have like this jump in performance with such a simple thing like that. If there wasn't something similar in the past, or what happened that we didn't discover something like that before? So that's quite interesting.
Maybe the manufacturing standards weren't up to building it. Like maybe like it's 40% more performance, but 800% higher price to
Sure.
manufacture. It could be
Sure.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, there was no 3D, like metal 3D printing wasn't like that common in that sizes before, and probably now it is. You had to like machine it complicated or something. Hmm.
Possibly.
Might be the point. Now it's way easier to do that. Yeah, so after I did the video, which was a lot of fun, I had a lot of fun with doing that. I was contacted by Blue Robotics from California, actually, and they make thrusters, and basically they built some remote controlled submarines for,
Okay.
yeah, they make them like for research and whatever. And they basically wanted to do a sponsorship with me. They sent me like big thrusters, two big thrusters that I can I can use, and controllers for that. And I promised them, oh yeah, I have a project. I want to do something like maybe not. They said, okay, if uh, we liked your sub project, and I said, okay, yeah, it's fine, but that's quite simple. I want to do like this James Bond diver torpedo like thing. And I started to make that, and I promised, oh yeah, I can do this by November. And I thought I bought a neoprene, and I thought, oh, last year the November was so warm, it was like still 15, 17 degrees temperature. I can totally do it. But then we had like super cold winter this year. So basically the lake was frozen in November already, and I couldn't do the project. And I have still the thrusters here in the lab next to me, and I really want to do something with them because I think that's like a huge improvement to what I printed last year. Um, and yeah, there will be something. I hope I can do it in July because, yeah, obviously I have like to do a lot of work to move my lab to a new home. But I really want to use the summer to do another water-based propulsion system. In what way it will look, I don't know yet. I started to print like waterproof compartments that didn't turn out to be waterproof at the end. So I did some research before, but I'm not finished with that yet.
I've got two suggestions. So
Okay.
one is to make a simple one, just to hook up the thruster and have fun, because you do
Yeah.
have to have fun in your videos. But a part two of that would be cool if you can mount the thrusters, a couple of them, but on 360-degree swivels, so you can have your stand-up board go sort of front and back and even strafe
Oh,
side to side.
like the huge ships. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, but the mounting. I mean, I have to use some sort of belt system because the mounting on the subs, because they change like the size. So it's not that simple to. I can't really. I can maybe attach one to one of the fins that's removable on the bottom. Otherwise, I would have to glue something to the sub, or
Yeah.
I need to like some sort of belts that also expand, because it's as soon I pump it up, it has some sort of size, and then it shrinks a little bit if it gets colder, if the pressure changes or whatever. It's not like super easy. It's probably even easier to like build a boat and attach them to like wooden boat or whatever, or tree lock or something.
I mean, at this point, you could basically attach them to like a piece of plastic, like Lexan or
Yeah,
polycarbonate or something, and then have all the mechanics on there, and then just strap it to the bottom of the sup. You know what I mean?
true. Yeah. That's what probably I would do. But now I'm really like I over engineer, or I get obsessed with the idea that I want like some sort of diverse propulsion system. And yeah, I bought even like a new action cam that's waterproof, like this DJI thing, to get like good footage underwater. But when the lake was frozen, that wasn't possible, and I thought, I'm not going in a frozen lake. I will die.
Are you thinking of having a vessel that'll go underwater, or do you mean like
Yeah.
strapping?
Actually,
Oh,
do you
okay.
know the old James Bond movies where they have like something that looks like a torpedo? You can just grab it, hold to that like a diver, and you get pulled by the door.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you have
Now I
some
got you.
diving scooter or something. You can, I think it's even called diving scooter.
Yeah, they have
I,
those. Yeah.
yeah, and I wanted one that has like a twist. So if you're just grabbing them, you have two handles, and if you to like rotate, like twist at the handle, it would steer one of the thrusters in a different direction. So you have some sort of control, even though you are pulled by it. I don't know if you can imagine that, but I had like an idea how to like make it slightly different. So it has a new like twist, but yeah, at the end it will be just basic. Oh yeah, Bitluni, fake laugh.
Or you could just wear a full tuxedo and then strap
uh,
these things to your forearms, and then you could be
I
your
don't
own
own a
vessel.
tuxedo anymore. I sold that.
You'd,
I
you'd have to
thought,
rent one.
yeah, and then give it back. Like, what? It's soaked with some murky water. What did you do?
And you say there's a fish in the breast pocket too.
Oh yeah, still flapping.
Oh boy. So yeah, I'm looking forward to your water projects. I'm wondering though, can you explain to me, because I've been gone for the last 2 months, basically working on a contract for the school, and my viewers have noticed this because I haven't released a video in over 2 months. Um, can you explain? So, what are you doing with these RISC-V microcontrollers?
Oh yeah. That's something. I mean,
You'd have to
I'm not.
explain it very simply for people who are like me and not particularly well versed in this kind of stuff.
It has like history. I think I might want to explain. Okay, so there is this RISC-V microcontroller, which has like the flash and has like microcontroller capabilities, which can control like hardware stuff, and it's super cheap. Like it's 10 cents a piece, and like the ones that I use are probably around 13 cents because they have more pins. But actually, they are really cheap, and the RISC-V architecture is an open architecture, like open source. There's like if someone wants to produce a RISC-V microcontroller, they don't need to pay like fees, license fees to ARM or whatever, Intel or what all these architectures where they are coming from. And that's why China started to produce a lot of microcontrollers and based off this architecture. And also you can, like, if you're coming from like FPGA developments and so on, there are also, you can put this architecture on an FPGA and test it and so on. So there are a lot of possibilities. Like, so what I see is that since it's open source and you can basically develop or extend this architecture by yourself, like you and me, you can get an FPGA for $20 and a complete board that you can program and test, or you can even emulate it or whatever. You can make your own processor at home and basically like distribute it afterwards or whatever. So there is a development going on, which is way faster than the development cycles of closed architectures. Because now the whole world is contributing to development of this architecture because it's open and it's free and it's, I think there is a future for RISC-V processors, and probably it will dominate. Like, I mean, now it seems like ARM is dominating, like the ARM architecture, and they're quite related in some ways. And since there is a lot more development and it's more encouraged to do so because you can do it openly and share, like open source is also growing way faster or whatever than closed source. I think there is the future for that. And that's why I wanted to try something RISC-V based. I mean, there are also ESP microcontrollers that are RISC-V based, but I wanted something really cheap. And now that that's even available like for 10 cents, and it's quite capable. It has like 48 megahertz, and it has like cool driving capabilities. So it doesn't have a lot of RAM or flash is okay. It's 16 kilobytes of flash. It's 2 kilobytes of SRAM, which is more than like old PIC microcontrollers or whatever, or ATtinies. It's comparable to that. And the driving capabilities are cool because you have like 5 and 3.3 volts compatibility on the pins, and they're quite. I really abused it already. I put the polarity wrong way around. I did everything to this processor. I didn't manage to break one yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the only thing is they are quite hard to program. You need like this one wire interface, so you need at least one programmer to do so. But Charles Lohr is currently developing like this bit-banked USB for that, USB low speed, which is really cool because I wanted to do this as well. But I'm drowned in other projects and other stuff. And I have already boards that are basically just waiting. They have USB ports and they are connected to the MCU the right way. And now I can use like the implementation from Charles basically to use the USB on that. So you get even like USB for those. Like ATtinies had the same development in the past. So, and they're quite cheap. And I thought, okay, if they're cheap, I mean, it costs me nothing like to put like 10 of those on one board. Okay, I can put 16 of those because 16 is a way nicer number than 10. And it's still like cheap. It's like below $2 to put it on a board. And then I can test like, oh, what can you do with like this a bus system? So I wanted to develop a bus system so they can communicate, and they have some outputs and they have some ADCs, so I can convert analog voltage quickly, all in parallel on those. So I made this supercluster project, which has like one bigger MCU, which is from the same company, WCH. You probably have a board that has one chip of them at home already.
Probably. I've got boards,
Yeah,
all sorts
they
of
made
stuff.
like the USB to serial bridges. Basically, all the USB to serial bridges nowadays are from WCH. And yeah, so I have one bigger one that's controlling like the smaller ones, and there is a bus they can communicate, and that's what I did. And then I thought, okay, yeah, I made the supercluster. You can plug it in. It's on a 4x4 centimeter board. You can basically plug it in, and it's tileable. So if you put many next to each other, you can basically make a huge wall of those, because each of the processors have, like the microcontrollers have one LED, and the other GPIOs are basically routed out through connectors. So I had already in mind to use more than 16. So I made like this mega cluster now, which consists like of a stack of a stack of a stack of stuff. And I have now like one with 256 MCUs, and it's still like, that was already a little bit more expensive, but it's still manageable. It's like, if you see it like that, it's $50 of MCUs, and you have like a supercomputer with 256 cores. And that's what I call clickbait-driven development, because people people always ask me, the first thing that people ask me about this project when I go live stream, what can you do with that, or why did you make this? And I say, I made it because I can. and there is no like RISC-V processor, or rarely any processors that have so many cores that you can play around with, except for graphics card, basically, which are like the individual computing units. And yeah, I'm curious what you can do with that. I'm just curious, and I want to explore it. And this mega and the supercluster, they have like this edge port connectors, so you can basically plug in like an extension card with graphics or brain interface or whatever. Because I have so many analog inputs, I can attach electrodes to my head and try to make like an AI or whatever teach it like to interpret my brain waves or something. That would be a cool project that I can imagine doing with that.
So are you saying that this RISC-V architecture is like, are you saying that these little chips that you're installing, could you use them a little bit like an FPGA? Like, is that what you're saying? You can kind of mold them to whatever? Is that how that works?
Oh, no, I didn't think of like something like that, but you can do some sort of like distributed system. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't think of them like an FPGA, but it's basically it's like that. So you have many ALUs, like on. Yeah, interesting view. I didn't see it like that, but it's like a distributed system. I mean, FPGAs are basically also a distributed system, and the routing basically happens all automatically. You don't have to take care of that, and usually.
So then you're saying it's more like if you had a tough calculation to make, you could divvy it up to a bunch of these micros at the same time.
Yes.
You see, I know nothing about this.
No.
Level.
It's basically I need to come up with something because I have no plan. No, it's like what you would like parallel computing. That's what you think about. Like I will try to, if I make a graphics card for that, I can try to like calculate a fractal or whatever, and basically attach like make it distributed, so each of the cores is calculating like a block of image that's displayed on the screen. That's what's happening also with the graphics card nowadays. If you're
Gotcha.
like using Blender or whatever and rendering an image, basically like one unit on the GPU takes over part of the ray tracing or whatever, and that's like distributed calculation. And you can also try, or I can try now then to put like hash calculation on each of the cores and see, oh, how good is it for Bitcoin mining or whatever.
I was gonna say my
Yeah.
intrusive thoughts are bringing me to Bitcoin mining, but that's like the worst thing to happen to the
Even
environment.
I can imagine, not if you run it from solar, like free
That's
energy.
true.
Yeah. That's what Julian is doing. He has this Bitcoin shed, which is basically powered from solar, and he gains like all the
A cent.
coins and altcoins and whatever.
It's like a penny a day.
Is it? I don't know. I don't. I can imagine he has like some ASICs calculating. So there's some quite powerful hardware that he has in the shed. So I can imagine on before it was like so saturated, he made some nice coins there. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can
he
imagine.
showed
Yeah.
his monetary gains,
What
but
was it?
because he's basically filling up batteries and then flushing them to the miners, the miners don't have it like a continuous run, and so yeah, he only ends up finishing like a penny or two of calculations every run or something like that.
Oh, okay, okay, that's bad.
Yeah, he's doing like fill and flush basically. But the crazy thing is he has enough solar panels now because he's got a rooftop
Yeah.
set up. So he's got enough solar panels now that he could mine continuously on his overage. But I think he's just slowly and surely developing a way to charge his car with the excess, and he doesn't care about it. I mean, to him, I think the deal was to heat up the shed, and the Bitcoin is secondary.
Yeah, true. You're just producing heat. That's true. And I think, I mean, it's a viable method if you're not using like a heat pump or whatever. If you just, instead of just turning on a heater like a huge resistor,
Yeah.
you can basically use also an ASIC miner for that. But I assume like the risk, even the 256 cores will be worse at Bitcoin mining or crunching numbers and whatnot than a regular Pentium processor.
Oh, probably. Like,
Yeah.
I'm hoping if I generate an excess of solar here, because I'm not going to tie to with my project with the lithium iron phosphide batteries, I'm not going to tie to the grid. In Canada, it's a lot of regulation that you have to follow and stuff like that. So for me, it's going to stay DC, or maybe I'll power things directly from it. But if I have an overage, I think it would be really cool to run a small computer and do folding at home, where it basically does Bitcoin mining, but instead of Bitcoin mining, you're checking the folding of proteins for research purposes, which would be really cool because there's been some major breakthroughs with that.
Oh, really? Yeah. I participated in folding at home for a while. Um, I, but I stopped like when the energy prices were so high last year. I
Oh yeah,
couldn't justify basically this running all the time.
yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Of
So
course.
what kind of developments were there in from folding at home? What did they discover?
There's I'd have to Google it again, but there's a few articles about how a few of the protein things led to discoveries in treatment of certain diseases. I'm not sure about the details, not enough to talk about it on a podcast at least, but it has been doing some good in the scientific community, which is great.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, really
Cool.
interesting stuff.
Yeah, folding at home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so a chance that I see where this can be actually useful. I have like a new version of that. I showed that on MakerCast, which is basically one board that's populated like by JLC with, or PCBWay in this case. You can use whatever manufacturer you like. So it's easily manufacturable. It has like one thing that I need to change to completely let it. You just need to solder like connectors or whatever, and it has like 32 cores, so you can play around with that, and that should be like in the production cost is as high like as a regular microcontroller board. So I see like this is something that you can play around, and there is like with this extension card slots, I can imagine that could be like grow to a community thing, like where people are just sharing their extension cards, whatever they're doing, because I mean the 32 cores, they're still fast. You can do audio with like 32 channels or whatever, or even more like crazy synthesizer stuff, or like with the analog stuff. So what I said before, like the brain interface, that would be interesting because you have like with one of the boards like 32 channels, like with the mega cluster has like 1280 GPIOs and it's 256 ADCs. So I see a chance. Maybe I will even like try to do some of the sonar scanner stuff that I still didn't finish, like the newest version of that. And but
Unfinished projects forever, huh? That's our
yeah,
life.
yeah, that's what I think. Like phased arrays can be done with that if they're timed right, and there is a chance to doing that with this. I think like even the design of Starlink antennas, there are like many little like also QFN, basically the same size that I have like on the new one. There are many like small processors that are probably just synced, and so the phased array is distributed, not like one core is doing all the inputs at once. They're just processed and crunched down, and then like in pyramid thing, processed down to the stream of data that's coming out of that system. It's a little bit complicated, I think, but yeah.
It's very cool though.
Yeah.
Which micro are you specifically using? Is the CH32V300? Is that it?
No, it's the 003. So the CH32V003, and the QFN 20-pin version is what I'm using nowadays. So on the mega cluster, I used like the one with the legs, but this is terrible to solder. I like QFN way more, and they're way smaller, so you can pack your PCB. And that's the one. They're quite cheap.
Yeah, I'm seeing here in Canadian dollars, if you buy 50 or more, it's 27 cents each. So that's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
They must have gone up in price though since everything else did.
No, no. It's like if you buy them on Ali, you get them from WCH directly, but the price is like they have like an upmark. I think I paid like $18 or something when I
Okay.
bought 200. No, I bought 300. But you can get them also from. No, you can't get them from LCC. But I basically contacted WCH, and if you buy a reel, you can already get like 14 cents.
Oh, that's not
And
bad.
yeah, and you can get even like if you're like a maker, WCH even has like a Discord, and one of the developers, he can hook you up with like free samples and so on. So if you're actually developing something for these processors, you get really support right now, because they see the chance that the maker community is able like to build something with that's actually useful and is representative of the capabilities of the device.
That's really cool. I wish I had talent in that field, but
Programming.
yeah, programming and we don't get along. You know, we got together too young, and not good.
Yeah, I struggle with that as well. I mean, I still didn't manage the mega cluster to work. So two failed streams. It was so painful that I gave up and tried to do VGA again last stream, and that failed again. I'm so frustrated with the streams right now. I
You
have,
were saying too on the MakerCast that your eyes are starting to hurt from the pink
Oh
LEDs
yes.
flashing at all times.
So I used the pink LEDs, and I calculated to use like 20 milliamps of power for each of the LEDs, and they are constantly blinking. So you have at all times you have like 127 LEDs at 20 milliamps, and that's quite bright. And my eyes are starting to hurt, even though I don't look at it all the time. It's just next to me on the desk, and basically my eyes are hurting. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe they're emitting like ultraviolet light. So I got like a link from one of the viewers for some UV testers. I should really test for UV on those LEDs.
I have to say, I have sensitive eyes, and so I tend to run my LEDs at like 4 or 5 milliamps. I know you can run 20,
Yeah.
but yeah, I run mine like indicator brightness because I just, especially red LEDs, they're vicious because they have a lower forward voltage, right?
Yeah, true.
So they get freaking bright with just a little current.
Oh yeah, on the new board, like this 32 RISC board, I put also red LEDs and a way higher resistor, basically because I want the LED that you can use the LED GPIO for something else as well on the bus. Not on the bus, but on the extension cards. So you have like full 8-bit for each processor that are usable. So this LED pin is shared, and I didn't want the voltage to drop much if there is this LED attached. And I used like I don't know, a few hundred or 1,000. Yeah, that's probably 1 kilo ohm, and it's still so bright.
Yep.
The
If I
red ones
run,
are really bright.
yeah, if I run red, it's like a 10K usually.
Really?
It just
Okay.
needs to glow so I know it's on because yeah, it's I have I guess I have photosensitivity. My eyes are I have light colored eyes, and apparently people with light colored eyes, they have a high chance of having photosensitivity. Like on the highway, if someone is coming in my direction and they have their high beams on, I'm effectively blind for like 30 seconds
Oh
after. It's a
wow.
pain in the butt.
Okay.
And so yeah, I try to drop down the LEDs in current, that's for sure.
Oh, but
And about your UV, I have some high CRI LEDs here for filming,
yeah.
and I have a yellow box that's been sitting underneath them for about a year, and the box is almost white now. So there must be UV on these LEDs at least.
Yeah, the, the high color representation is probably going far into blue and purple and UV.
Oh, very
Interesting.
likely.
Yeah.
So when you get your UV testers, I'd be curious to see what kind of results you
I
get
didn't
just from
order them.
LEDs.
I didn't
Oh, okay,
order them
okay.
yet. I have like now. I spent so much money on AliExpress that I was so shocked. I rarely buy anything right now. I just need to move my lab and reduce myself. I even want to sell my pick and place machine because there is
Oh
no
no.
space. Yeah, I'm not using it basically since I stopped selling on Tindy.
I think
Due
the
to,
issue with that kind of stuff though is that I don't think like what are the odds that someone within driving distance of you will have a use for a pick
yeah,
and
it's
place
it's
machine?
hard. It's hard to like sell. I guess I don't know. I will see. I will keep it as long as nobody wants it, and then maybe repurpose it. I use it quite. It was quite cool to use it for like the sonar scanner project, so I could map out the response of the phased array. That was great, but yeah. Now I have also the Carvera, which is like with the servo motors way more precise. So I'm thinking if I can make the Carvera converted like somehow, or make an extension to use as a pick and place machine. That would be cool because that has quite some good precision.
Just add it to the pile, right?
Yeah.
The to-do pile.
I don't know. Too many projects. Too many
Yeah.
projects.
But that's how we live, right? It's like
Yeah,
it feels like that's our life force as makers. If the moment where we run out of projects, that's the moment where we're done in this on this earth, I guess.
yeah, and uh, it's never it never gets boring. And now also, I mean, we had it on MakerCast yesterday, like the ASIC stuff. I also like took part on the tiny tape out stuff, and I hope the I get the ASICs, my first project on the ASIC. Actually, it's 3 contributions that I made to that. Like in August is like the earliest that we can probably expect it to be finished. That development is so crazy. That will be comparable, in my opinion, to like when it started to be cheap to get like PCBs from China. I can imagine at some point we will move in the same direction with like making own silicon chips, like just put them on there like a combined open source project, and then you can just configure the IC to enable your design and do whatever you have there. I have a project lined up with that. So I designed a persistence of vision processor basically that displays text and graphics, and I hope it works.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I tested it with an FPGA, but I'm not sure if everything like converts to ASIC as I planned, because it's quite dense. I think my project was on Tiny Tape Out 2 was the highest utilization of the space. Yeah, over 60%, which is really uncommon. So what happens there if you have like a hardware description language, and what it generates is some kind of cells, and those have to be like distributed on the ASIC, so like on the silicon, and then it has to be wired, and the signals have to be amplified, and all this stuff is happening like organically, like it's like a grid that's optimized to like, so the signal strength is good enough for the communication between the individual cells, and it's quite hard like to utilize a lot of the silicon, because quite often you have like this amplification stuff in between. You have to like it's like really hard to get the ICs dense with the open source tools that we got right now. And yeah, it optimized for hours on one of the projects, because I wanted to put on like squeeze in a complete ASCII character set, and I only managed to do like the whole alphabet plus the digits and some like colon and so on. I managed actually to put like a ROM of a character set on the ASIC, and also some memory, which is, we didn't have like a standard cell with a lot of memory where you can use like a RAM block or whatever. That wasn't available, or I didn't know how to do it. So I used like D flip-flops, which are basically units that can store 1 bit of data. And I used quite a lot of those, and I squeezed it all in this project, and I increased just the memory. I tested it, let it run for like half an hour, it optimized utilization 50%, and I said, okay, if that works, maybe more RAM will work. And I increased that, and it optimized for 1 hour, and then it worked, and then okay, more RAM. And when it stopped, I knew, okay, this is the limit that I can squeeze in this ASIC design.
You know how at the beginning of the podcast I said you were absolutely nuts in the types of videos you make?
It's
I'm
not a
just
video. It's just a project that's not documented yet.
I know, but this is your thing. You build up, you build up, you build up. You have to go like further and further and further,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
your
that's
videos go
madness.
nuts.
Oh, that's madness. Yeah,
It is.
unfortunately, it's so hard to make a good video. I mean, you mentioned this is sonar scanner stuff. And if you consider that, that's a little bit YouTube meta, but if you consider that I worked on that video alone 3 months, and what I gained from that monetarily is not worth like 3 months of work. But I gained a lot of appreciation, because a lot of people watched that video and enjoyed it, and I'm really proud of it, because it's actually like substantial, and I could like show with simple things how other things work. It's like STEM and whatnot. But it's rare that I can pull that off, that I can take like 3 months of my time and re-record, because I had like this water scenes. I had to re-record them like 2 times, because if you set this all up, that's a funny story, because I set this all up, and then I set up the solenoid machine that would activate the waves and so on. And I set this up, and then I did everything, and then I recorded. And then during the edit, I just saw the reflection of the water surface. There was so much dust, and I recorded in 4K, and it was like full of dust, and it looked horrible. And I thought, oh wow, I have to re-record this. I can't use this footage. And I did it again. I set the camera up, and it's not like I'm doing a lot of workshop stuff in the lab here. And I set it up, and as soon I had the water there, this dust started to accumulate on the water surface. There was like one dust particle, two, like by the second, there was like more and more dust. So every shot that I took, I had to take like a paper towel and pull it through the water surface to collect all the dust stuff. And I just threw this wet tissue just on a pile next to the whole setup. So like I had a bucket and a pile of wet tissues there, and every shot that I made during the recording of the scene, the pile increased. So you didn't see that, but there was like everything was so messy, everything was wet, and there was a pile of wet tissues to get like a recording of this setup without dust particles on the surface. There are still some, but it's okay.
This is why you need like some behind the scenes footage. You need like someone to follow you around and film the making of.
Yeah, but this is crazy, because you wouldn't understand. Oh, I can't I can't take the time to explain. Oh yeah, I have like dust particles, and I need to like pile up this huge, and I don't have time to like put the tissues anywhere else, because every second that I don't do anything, don't record, there is more dust on my water surface.
You needed to just record inside of a tent, I think.
Yeah, some sort of like how do you call it? The
Like
tent,
a clean room.
clean room with overpressure or something.
Yeah, there we go. But see, this is what I mean. You're psychotic in the best way. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, but it also takes time. So
It does.
it has advantages and also disadvantages. Yeah.
Yeah, the videos that take me the longest typically are the ones that get the fewest views.
Oh, that's so painful.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, I make a 20-minute video rambling about charging batteries, 500,000 views. I make basically a 2-week long how to use a multimeter thing edited down as short as I can possibly get it.
Oh, yeah.
And it gets like 2,000 views.
Oh, yeah, I feel that pain. The pocket bike video was not well viewed.
I know, that's nonsense. That's a fantastic video.
Yeah, but you know what? I just saw that there are so many similar projects on YouTube, like of kids just motorizing bicycles or whatever, that I think like this topic is saturated, and you can't convince someone like just with the cover and the title watch yet another motorized small bike project. And that's basically the issue with like, there needs to be, I mean, I hate clickbait myself, but this is how YouTube works right now. And it's bad if you don't have like a novelty that you show. Then you have to rely on your core audience that's watching every single video of yours. And unfortunately, that's not sometimes not enough, like to get like paid by YouTube properly.
For sure. For sure.
That's why click-driven based development is invented.
Yeah, but that's kind of it, right? When I was in university, I went to university sort of to look for a new career a while ago, and I took social sciences, and one of my professors was telling me that you should write about your expertise. So in our case, it would be like make videos about what we like making videos on. But he was saying you wait for a current event as a hook to hang your story on. And so you make your story relate to the current event. And that's a little bit like what we do as YouTubers, is that you have a project in mind, but you need a sort of clickbaity, like something enticing to hook your video idea around. And I think that's it, right? I think the renewable energy projects are really cool, but you kind of need to sell it in a different way. You need the
Yeah.
right hook, right? And so it's like, saving money, kind of everyone understands that, but how about like pocketing profit or whatever? That's more enticing than saving money, stuff like that.
Oh, I tried different covers and different titles for that, and I asked even like ChatGPT to generate some. It came up with quite cool and condensed topics. But at the same time, when I changed the topic, I assumed there was like something triggered on YouTube where it detected. I added also some tag words like the keywords that I asked ChatGPT for. I just gave it a script and say, give me some keywords for search engine optimization or whatever, and it came up with quite like on topic keywords, and I put them in the description, and basically after that YouTube tanked my video. It's like it's it's like I can see it, like it didn't show my video to anymore. It didn't suggest my video anymore. So it seems like YouTube is working on some sort of AI detection, because there is a lot of spammy like generated content currently on YouTube, and it might have like detected that like as a AI generated video or whatever. That's why it wasn't suggesting the video to anyone else.
Very interesting.
Yeah, so apparently I would be like careful to use like AI generated content right now on YouTube, because then you might be flagged at the end and then not get any views at all.
Well, let's reverse that. So,
Yeah.
which video was the most affected by this?
The last one with the solar and the power bank. But also people said, okay, we had so many power banks in the recent time, we don't want to watch it. At the
I don't
same
care what
time, the
people say.
but at the same time, the click-through rate is still like above 5%. And basically, when my videos die, it's at about 3%. So the click-through rate is like, if your cover title is shown somewhere, how likely is it that the person clicks on a video? And that's like for my videos, usually like if a video is new and it's just shown to like people that already watched my videos, that starts at like 10%, and then 5% is still good, so it's ongoing, and then basically YouTube stops showing the video to people when it reached like 3%. And this video is still at 5%. It's not shown to people.
So I'm going to put a link in the description of this podcast, and everyone go click, but actually watch it. Because if you click and then you only watch like 30 seconds and go away, that's actually a bad metric. Do not do that.
Actually, I don't care. But thank you very
I
much
care.
for. I really I have distanced myself from the video already, because it's too painful if you like put in some work or whatever and like edit for a week, or and then it's basically, I mean, it's not that bad. It's like it soars at 11K views right now, but it's far from like this default performance. It's like my least performing video from like a year or whatever right now. So yeah, I have like to not attach my self-confidence or whatever to a single video. The show must go on.
For sure. For sure. Because if we were just the result of our last videos, then
wow, yeah.
I would have been dead a couple months ago.
Some more YouTube meta, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So do you have anything to tease in the upcoming couple weeks, couple months maybe?
Oh, wow. I'm promising so much and not delivering so much. Yeah, I teased already that I want to do this like water or propulsion based projects every summer. I like to do stuff outside. So certainly something coming. And of course, I have to somehow finish the supercluster, or at least one, the mega cluster project. And I want to publish something on that. Yeah, I have this VGA stuff coming again. So for S3, ESP S3, 32 S3, there is like, because that's not compatible with like my VGA library that I made before for Arduino. I have to rewrite it because many things changed, and I have a board that I designed that also needs a few changes, but that will be also upcoming video.
And so I would say if people out there have a couple extra bucks to spare, because we do know that you did buy a house or are buying a house.
Yeah.
So hit up Bitluni's Patreon page, which is linked in the description below.
Oh, wow.
If
Thank you.
If you got a couple bucks to spare, then that's a good way to do it. Do you also do GitHub sponsors?
Yes, I have GitHub sponsors, but only 3 right now or something.
So you can join the exclusive club of being
Yeah.
GitHub sponsor number 4. And there's no guarantees that you can share a fondue with Bitluni on his live streams, but you can certainly watch them.
Oh, yeah.
Basically.
Do you know Wintergarten?
Yes.
Yeah. So he has like a community meetup coming up on August that's actually in Germany, and I was invited to join them, and I will go there, and I will be also on the Maker Fair. So there's actually a chance like to get a fondue. I don't know if we will have fondue, but actually like to and apparently like this event happens at beginning of August, where the actual birthday of my channel is. Like on 3rd of August is the birthday of my channel. I still don't know what I will do, but I will do at least a live stream on the main channel, which usually doesn't happen that often. And I will be on the Wintergarten event with an LED wall.
Nice.
Yeah, so around like beginning of August, there will be things happening, and if someone like is like around Europe or whatever and goes to the Wintergarten or a Maker Fair, the Hannover Maker Fair, I'm also there, and I'm taking the LED wall with me as well. I will be there, and you can meet me there as well. Then
is this going to be a trip? Are you going to get a donaire again?
Sorry?
Are you going to get a donaire once you're there?
Oh, Döner. No, Döner I get usually in, I get döners everywhere. Also in Hanover, we had a great döner last time when at the Maker Fair. But usually the most döners I get in Berlin. I don't have plans for Berlin yet, but I love to go to Berlin. I don't know. I will, maybe. I have no plans yet. But yeah, Hannover and Wintergatan community meetup is certain that I will go.
That's awesome. If I were in that part of the world, I would definitely be going.
Yeah, at some point we will meet, I hope.
You should come visit Canada. I'll show you around. You can pick your time. You want to come in the summer when it's plus 40, or do you want to come in the winter when it's minus 40?
You know what? I have a guilty pleasure. I'm watching Gold Rush a lot, but that's like nothing.
That's not close. I'm
I will.
closer to you than I am to there.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Almost. It's
But
halfway around
but
the world.
I will bring my gold pen if I can't visiting you.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's so environmentally so horrible, but it's a guilty pleasure. I love to watch that.
Look, we all damage the environment just by existing.
That's
The
true.
important thing is that you acknowledge the damage you do and you try not to do any excess stuff. That's the important part.
Yeah.
Don't feel guilty because you're damaging the environment. Our existence damages it.
We try to influence the people the right direction. Buy solar panels.
Buy solar panels, and preferably don't keep them in your basement like me and use them.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's negative. That's negative CO2 or positive CO2, and
that's right. So so thank you so much for taking your time and coming onto the podcast and saving me from doing some work and booking a guest, because you kind of just accepted at the last minute there.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to be here.
So yeah, anytime you want to come back, you come back. But I hope people get the opportunity to come say hi and shake your hand in public.
Oh yeah. I'm a friendly guy. I'm really not like a celebrity or anything. If you don't be shy around me. I'm just a goof.
And he likes Donner. Don't forget.
Döner, yeah. We can go eat Döner together. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. And folks, I hope you guys will check out Bitluni's channels, linked in the description, live streams on Bitluni Live, main channels on Bitluni. Check out his Patreon and his GitHub sponsors. Thanks for listening, everyone. I'll catch you on the next one.